We all have that one anime that we never want the world to know we enjoyed, and I wasn't surprised in the slightest to find that to many of us it was some raunchy ecchi. Although I'm slightly concerned that some of my friends mentioned redo of Healer. Maybe I need new friends. But what surprised me was that almost nobody brought up Beastars. Maybe the furry connotation wasn't strong enough, or more than likely anime fans just have no shame. And why should they? Beastars is amazing. It's a show that came out in 2019, because of course it did. Shit was stacked that year. We've had many a good show since, even full seasons that were great, but an entire year chock full of nothing but hype? Okay, yes, we had Shield Hero Arifureta and even more Sword Art Online, so maybe it wasn't all gold, but Beastars definitely was. It's one of those anime that a lot of people just looked at and went, what? Which, to be fair, was expected since this is the more grown-up Zootopia of the anime world. And yes, to address the elephant in the room, Beastars is kinda furry, there is no getting around that, but you absolutely shouldn't dismiss it as some mediocre attempt to pander to furries who also happen to be anime fans. I mean, if the frog incident is anything to go by, My Hero already does plenty of that. Wait, would it even be a furry if it's a frog? Or a scaly? Frogs don't have scales though. You know what, I don't actually care enough to find out. The point being, Beastars is not just some cheap haha smexy bunny girl, and I mean bunny girl, not bunny girl, attempt to get views from furries. It's a deep and interesting story with some of the most nuanced world building I have ever seen, that just happens to also be kinda furry. But before we get further into it, sponsored section time. I have once again partnered up with vittujenkevat. They are a Finnish jewelry and household item brand specializing in high quality handcrafted and cruelty-free items with the humorous theme of genitalia. Products ranging from gold and silver necklaces and earrings to cookie cutters, mugs and bedsheets. Head over there now and get 10% of your entire purchase at vittujenkevat.fi by using the link in the description and pinned comment and by using the code AddedCheese at checkout. I really need to write a better sponsored section. Anyway, back to Beastars. The anime is kinda like Zootopia, but one that abandoned the childlike glee, aged 40 years and got really fucking done with life. It's a world where animals play the role of humans in a society that carefully balances the fine line between oppressive control of its citizens for the sake of continued existence, and total anarchy where neighbors eat one another's flesh. There are two major groups, the carnivores and the herbivores, both acting more or less like their non-anthropomorphic counterparts do in our world. The herbivores are smaller and more timid, while the carnivores are big, powerful, and sometimes prone to aggression. But with some careful control and a schooling system that promotes unity, the world of Beastars exists in a state of equilibrium, until one of the students gives into their nature and someone gets eaten. This then sets off a wild and wonderful murder mystery full of suspicion, self-doubt, and not an insignificant amount of fantasy racism. Except it doesn't, since all that is really the topic of the second season, despite the whole dude gets eaten bit being what kicks the series off. The second season is really where the story kicks into gear, but everything in it would also be a massive spoiler straight off the bat, so I won't go too much into detail here. Instead, let's focus more on the first season, that is about the festering societal problems brought up by the devouring incident as well as character and world building. And what a world it is. I wasn't joking when I said that Beastars is a world-building masterpiece. Every minute detail is accounted for, from the different sizes of the citizens being reflected in how the school cafeteria is structured, to how the carnivores get the protein they need, for example in eggs provided by the chickens living alongside them, all the way to the birds needing a flying license. But that's just the outside-facing part, where everyone lives happily ever after, and the further you go, the darker things get. From the Blind mayor having to have all his teeth pulled and replaced with more affable human-like dentures to not appear intimidating, to the black meat markets where the less fortunate members of society are literally being butchered and sold as food, all the way to the organized crime rings where carnivores who no longer wish to hide their nature kidnap fellow citizens of the street as prey. And in the center of all of this is Legoshi, our hero of the day. Well, calling him a hero might be a bit much, although he does eventually do things that are pretty heroic, but mostly he is just the awkward guy not wanting to stand out too much. Unfortunately for Legoshi, he also happens to be one of the few carnivores who was friends with the dude who got eaten, which, as you might imagine, does draw quite a bit of attention to him. And that is how Beastars shares with us its complex societal structure. It's not vomited out in a few paragraphs, the anime doesn't tell you how things are, it shows you. In passing conversation, in body language as people walk past the tall predator in the hallway. It doesn't succumb to the usual anime trope of everything has to be spelled out. The show doesn't care if you don't get every minute detail of what's going on, but it trusts that you get enough of it, and that is brilliant. It helps the world feel more tangible and believable. It's a vibrant universe imitating life, although be it in a very anime kind of way. And the same applies to the people, or animals, I guess, that inhabit this place. Beastars doesn't try to shove the usual tropes down your throat. Instead, I feel like the author might have based the characters on actual people they know, and then animified them a bit, creating a stunning contrast of believable people as its characters that still wear the skins of animals on the outside. They don't look anything like the folk you might run into on the street, but they feel like they could be. Just look at Legoshi and you get what I mean. He battles with himself constantly. He may initially be the quiet kid and acts accordingly. I'm sure we've all met at least one person like him, but society sees him as a potential monster, and for a good reason, as he too comes to slowly realize. His head tells him one thing and his heart another, all the while somewhere deep within the beast he was born to be begins to stir. And that was a disgustingly posh-sounding paragraph. Well, if it makes me sound like a prick, so be it. Everyone here feels like they have real personalities and life experiences way before you as the viewer stepped in, and they just keep on growing even more. Yes, there is the anime this is the turning point feel, but still. The show is full of mystery, romance, and even some pretty high-octane action, all of which is spiced with some of the best voice acting you'll ever hear, and I'm not saying that to make other voice actors look bad, because it's not that the actors themselves did a better job than most others, it's how they did it. The standard for anime and a lot of other medium with voice acting is to sit in a booth and record your stuff, but for Beastars, and I am totally stealing this from people who actually understand this shit better than I ever could, they have the actors act out the scenes because your voice reflects what your body does. Yes, you can act it, hence voice acting, but no matter how good you are, there will still be a difference in actually throwing punches with your full body while recording, or acting like you're doing it. It's that minute attention to detail that makes the show stand out so goddamn much. And the same even extends to the animation. Beastars is a mostly CGI anime, which yes, might put off some fans. We have all seen the devastation CG can bring, just look at Berserk 2016, but it's not all bad. Last year, Strike and Stampede showed us you can bring incredible fluidity of motion and action in pure CGI, and way before it, Beastars really milked CG for all it's worth. It's not just the big, bold movements you pay attention to, although those two look stunning, but it's the little details that once again shine the brightest. Things like body language, facial expressions, those tiny details that convey far more meaning than pure dialogue ever could. It breathes even more life to every scene, not that it was needed, but damn am I glad it's there. And if I'm being honest, I don't think 2D animation could ever replicate it in a normal anime level budget. In a movie, yes, just look at Ghibli films, but in a TV production? Doubt. Beastars is one of those rare shows that really nailed every aspect that makes an anime great, but unfortunately it was overshadowed by things like Demon Slayer and Vinland Saga in its year of initial release. Not that those two wouldn't have deserved the praise too, but had Beastars come out today in the wake of the likes of Frieren and Apothecary Diaries, I feel like it might have gotten the attention it deserved. Obviously, a story like this, it might not be for everyone, and understandably the furry outside will put some people off, but for its production quality alone, the show deserves at least a try. 9 out of 10 Cheese recommends. Not my ideal story, but holy shit is everything in it amazing nonetheless. And with that, thank you for watching. I do hope you enjoyed that. If you did do all of the YouTube things, likes, comments, subscribes, every piece of interaction helps to appease the algorithm god. If you want more content from me, there is a bunch of reviews already up on the channel, and if there's a specific one you'd like to see me do, you can comment that down below. You can also tune in on the Twitch streams. I'm live there on some days. There's a link in the description. The schedule is a bit foggy right now because of uni stuff. But anyway, it's there. Don't forget to check out the channel partners at vittujenkevat.fi. They really do make great stuff, and with this, I have been Cheese, and I hope to see you next time. Ta-ta for now.